through old pictures of a family trip to the shore, I noticed a detail in one of the pictures I had never seen before. There was a woman, a tall, blonde, young woman laying on the beach holding an ice cream. Zooming into the expression on her face, I wondered, was she enjoying that ice cream? Every trait that met the eye about her started to make its way into my mind. Her face, her posture, the clothes she was wearing. Suddenly, I had created a whole life for her. I imagined how her day went, what her name was, if she had 2 dogs and 1 cat, if she was an only child, where she went to college. And in the middle of creating a fictional best friend for her, I remembered I have so many pictures on my phone. I then started to look through more pictures, and I started creating new stories for all the people I saw, just like I had done for the ice cream girl. And then it hit me. These stories I'm creating, they're fake, but these people do have a real backstory. We all have one. You have one, you have one, I have one. And the people in our pictures are just the backgrounds of our moments, our spotlight. I realized that there is so much more to us than we are even willing to acknowledge. The world is so huge, it's so full of life, and we are just a tiny part of it, running around like little ants. I remembered the words of a teacher who once told me, "We are not as special as we think we are." And it's so true. And look, I'm not trying to criticize the fact that humans are self-centered. After all, it's the way we work. We are the main characters of our own movie. But there is a really fine line between being self-aware and being fixated on yourself. Crossing this line just means that you become increasingly isolated from the whole world, and other perspectives, other experiences, people begin to fade into the background of your life, and then it's only you left. Obviously, I didn't want this for me, so I asked myself, what happens when I refuse to let these people stay in the background? I then started to look through more pictures and creating more and more stories. Maybe the old man crossing the street is coming from his daily walk to the park with his dog. Maybe that little girl seems sad because her balloon just flew away. Maybe that couple walking, holding hands, is celebrating their 1st-month anniversary. Maybe this, maybe that. And it really blew my mind away, the fact that it's even possible for all these faces, all these different people, all these different minds, all these complex worlds being connected by such a simple thing as a photograph. It's insane. I stumbled to a picture of a forest with little Boy Scouts running around in the background. Obviously, they all had one thing in common, their uniforms. But they also had another thing in common, this time something that all of us do. Each and every one of them was a teeny tiny part of the other next to them. We are teeny tiny parts of the other next to us because we shape ourselves around others, around the phrases we hear, around the habits we see, around the way others think, around the music we hear, around the trends that we follow. We are tiny bits of other people. Think of yourself as a mosaic. You are a gigantic human mosaic formed by tiny pieces of glass that people give you whenever they say something, whenever they do something, or whenever you hear something. But these people, they are mosaics too. And guess who gives that little pieces of glass to them to stick to them? You. All of us are those others who form people. Somehow, in a good way, in a bad way, whether we want to or whether we don't, we shape others. When was the last time someone told you something you never forgot? Take, for example, my teacher, who told me that none of us are so special as we think we are. Maybe what that person said was something nice. Maybe it was a joke, maybe it was an insult. Whatever it was, it stuck with you. Well, just that same way, you probably once too said something that stuck with someone. The problem is, you don't have control over that. Maybe what you said was something nice and heartwarming. But what if it wasn't? What if what you said or did was something so terrible that that person hasn't been able to forget it and has lived with it ever since? Is that really the impact you want to leave on people, eventually leaving it on the world? Look, the purpose of this talk is not to tell you what you should or what you shouldn't do. I, of all people, am far from being an expert on the world, and I'm not pretending to be one. But what I do know is that most of us, or at least that's what I try to believe, we are not planning on leaving an impact if it's not a meaningful one. I don't hold the recipe to this yet. I'm still young and unaccomplished, and I have much to live. But my intentions are clear. I once read that you should speak life into others, support their dreams, encourage their ideas, make people feel seen, point out their strengths, their talents, and their potential, because sometimes all it takes is for one person to remind you that you're capable. Thank you.